Darkwing Dub.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? We just had a night one of WrestleMania. Little disappointed. Not a little disappointed. Not so much so within the wrestling, because the wrestling was okay. I'm actually quite happy with the length that it went. It started 5 o'clock my time and ended about 9 o'clock. So we got about a 4-hour show. One thing I wish they would curb is going to be the commercials. Like, bro, we pay for a streaming service. We're paying for a streaming service. Well, for those of us that do pay for the streaming service, we're paying for a streaming service. We don't need 50 fucking thousand commercials. It's old, it's tiring. Like, we got to do better. If you're WWE, you have to do better with these commercials. There's no point in them, especially when we're paying for a streaming service. But let's get down to it. So, night one of WrestleMania, you know, the first hour was free on ESPN2. It's only free if you pay for cable. So, there's that. You know, you had the triple threat match, tag team match, the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision and iShowSpeed. We had Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu. Then we had the fatal four-way match with the Bellas. We had Bailey and Lyra. We had Charlotte and Alexa. And we had the Irresistible Forces. That was followed up by Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, followed up by Seth Rollins and Gunther. Also followed up by Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan, and the show ended with Orton versus Rhodes. Okay. You know, the show started out on ESPN2 with the triple threat tag team. The match was fun, short, but fun. And I understand why the first two matches had to kind of be shorter because it was on ESPN2. I think it's crazy that if you're Jey Uso, you go from being in the World Championship title mix to now you're the opener for WrestleMania. Nothing wrong with that, but he lost his belt prior, and now he's not even fighting for it. Neither of the tag team belts were on the line tonight, or tomorrow night's going to be on the line. It's just night one was not very good. This match was fun. We saw iShowSpeed turn on the Vision, and probably the move of this match was after the match was over with, that the jump that he made from the ring to the outside on Logan Paul. We're seeing more and more of this where these influencers are getting more involved into WWE. You're taking time away from the actual wrestlers. You're taking time from the actual wrestlers for somebody like iShowSpeed. I can list off a number of people who could have been in this match who don't even have a match at WrestleMania, including Carmelo Hayes, including Damian Priest. But iShowSpeed got his WrestleMania moment. Anyways, that match was okay. I gave it a C+. The next match was Drew McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. I figured this match was going to steal the night. And then when I saw that they were going to put them on ESPN2, because I was asking for blood. This is a match that should have had blood in it, but since it was on cable TV, they couldn't do that. Understandably so. Because there is a few parts in this match where, okay, he should be bleeding. For instance, when Drew McIntyre took that wrench to Jacob Fatu's head, yeah, he should have been bleeding. But since it was on TV, you're kind of limited on what you can do. I thought this match was good. Now, this is a match that said that it was WrestleMania. You could feel the hatred through the TV. That's how good this match was. I gave this match an A-. I only gave it a minus because it was on free TV and there was no blood. An unsanctioned match needs blood. This didn't have any blood in it. But outside of that, hey, we all knew that Jacob was going to win because Drew's going to be filming a movie soon. So it is what it is, right? But this match should have told you, okay, we're in WrestleMania. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Bam. They were hitting hard. It was a good match. It was a good match. A- and only a minus because there was no blood. And it was on free TV. There's one of the women's matches, if they we'll get to it. The show that actually led off WrestleMania on the ESPN app was the Fatal 4-Way women's tag team title. This one probably could have been substituted for McIntyre and Jacob Fatu on free TV. This match was okay. They didn't give them enough time to work. I felt like the wrong team won. I know they had every intention on putting the belt on the Bellas, but if Nikki Bella can't go, I think you have to switch it up, and then you put the belt on them when Nikki Bella is ready. But they didn't want to squander the return of Paige. Here's one thing that I'm so sick and tired of when it comes to social media and the dirt sheets and shit like that. Spoiling returns. Like we saw yesterday that Paige was returning. She had signed and was going to return in WrestleMania. This would have been a lot better if people that find out this information would keep their fucking mouth shut. Just be quiet. Why ruin it for everybody else? This would have been a whole lot better if it wasn't ruined by the dirt sheets. But here we are. They put the belt on the Brie Bella and Paige. I felt like if they were going to take the belt off the Irresistible Forces, it could have gone to Bayley and Lyra. And I love me some Lyra, y'all. I ain't even going to hold you. I love me some Lyra. But anyways, I felt like it could have gone to Bayley and Lyra, especially to make up for last year when Bayley missed WrestleMania and was substituted by Becky Lynch. This would have been the perfect time to give Bayley her moment that she missed last year, but they didn't. They went with Brie and Paige. Cool, but not enough time. Not enough time. That's going to be a theme throughout night one. There was not enough time for the women. And that leads me, the letter grade for this one, I gave it a B. No, I gave it a C+. And that leads me into the next match. AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. I honestly didn't really care for this. I really didn't. I've seen enough of AJ Lee I've seen enough of Becky Lynch and AJ Lee going after each other. It's time to move on. And I hope this was an ending to that. Because WrestleMania is supposed to be an ending, right? It's supposed to be an ending. And I hope that this is it, because I am tired of seeing them going after each other. Now it's time to move on to another story for Becky. Is AJ going to stay around? I don't know, but it's time for something else. In the end, Becky Lynch gets the win. Again, match not very long. I guess they did what they had to do. Put the belt back on Becky. AJ puts Becky over after Becky put AJ over. The best part of this, I guess, was Becky's entrance where the band was lip syncing. I don't know. And it wasn't very good. I gave this match a C-. And a lot of these matches are getting low grades because there just wasn't enough time there. Like, Becky and AJ had a pretty decent story. They're just not given enough time to tell the freaking story. Is that on Triple H? Is that on the producers? Is that on TKO? I don't know, but it just wasn't given enough time. Like, when we think of WrestleMania, we thinking of long, elaborate matches that's going to, what match actually stole the show. You know what I'm saying? And we just didn't get any of that. I don't know. This match got a C-. This match was followed by what I felt was the match of the night: Gunther versus Rollins. This is another match that said, hey, this is WrestleMania and we're here. And there was so much back and forth. This is what I think of when I see WrestleMania. This is exactly what I think of when we say WrestleMania season. This Gunther versus Rollins was match of the night. I gave it an A. I gave it a straight up A, because we had a bunch of back and forth. We had stealing finishers. We had just straight up beating each other's ass, right? Just straight up beating each other's ass. And then we had to return Braun Breaker. Now, I'm sure we all knew that Braun Breaker was going to return, was going to screw Rollins, which is going to kick off their matches going into possibly SummerSlam. This will probably catapult Gunther to either Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam or getting back into the title picture. I think it all depends on what happens with Brock and Oba tomorrow, but we'll see. But we all know that Seth and Braun are going to take their rivalry into the summer. I would like to see Gunther get back into the title picture, no matter who it's against. I know Brock said he wants to retire soon, so maybe they let him keep that gimmick of legend killer per se, and let him retire Brock at SummerSlam. But like I said, it all depends on what we get tomorrow between Brock and Oba. And then, but yes, this was most definitely a match of the night. I gave it an A. Another women's match was followed by that. Another women's match that wasn't given much time at all. Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vaquer. I think Liv Morgan's entrance was longer than the actual match. That's an issue. As a whole, Triple H, the producers, TKO, they're all to blame, and they screwed these women over. Night one was screwed over for the women. They were heavily shafted. They deserved a lot better. They deserved a lot better, a lot more time to tell their stories. Just like I said about Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, they deserve more time to tell that story. And I have a graphic, and I'm gonna post up here before I end the show, showing the times for these matches. It's not good. It's not good. I thought I saw somebody on X say something along the lines of this show would have been night one would have been damn good for a backlash. And I agree. Night one would have been pretty good for a backlash. But when we think about WrestleMania, this is not what we're thinking of. We saw Liv Morgan in her entrance and her song. Hey, I like the entrance. I think we all figured that Liv Morgan was gonna get that belt back. At some point, Stephanie Vaquer is gonna get her pound of flesh back. I don't know. We'll see. There was a good story told for this match. It's just they didn't get the chance to tell the match in the ring. It's bad. There's not really a lot to say about these women's matches. There's really not. And it's sad. It's sad. Another C grade, mainly because there wasn't enough time. After this match, we did get a pleasant surprise from a woman. Believe it or not, we got a pleasant surprise from a woman. We actually saw Bianca Belair show up. Everybody's been wondering, when's Bianca coming back? When's Bianca coming back? Well, now we know where she been. Bianca Belair announces that she is pregnant. Congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford. If you guys watched their show that was on Hulu, you know that they had been discussing this. They were going to be trying for it. And lo and behold, they got it. Congratulations to Montez Ford and Bianca Belair on the announcement of their pregnancy. So that's now Bianca Belair and Naomi. It's awesome to see. And this is one thing I will give big ups to WWE for. Letting Bianca come out at WrestleMania, of all shows, at WrestleMania to announce her pregnancy. So I will give a shout out to that. In the midst of that, we also got the infamous announcement of the attendance. We don't care. The only reason why you got 50,000 people in there to begin with is because you had to keep on lowering prices so people would buy the freaking tickets. Because guess what? This president that you idiots support is fucking up the country, and nobody can afford this shit. That's why AEW is going to continue to get strows and strows and strows of fans because of ticket prices. Until y'all do something about these ticket prices, y'all just feeding AEW fans. But that's another story for another day. Again, congratulations to Bianca Belair and Montez Ford on the announcement of their baby. Can't wait to see y'all back. And this goes into the main event, Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. This was the second best match of the night. No. Yeah, it was the second best match of the night. I gave Rollins and Gunther number 1. This is number 2, and McIntyre and Fatu is number 3. I thought they told a good story. I like how they started the show or the match off with them getting rid of Pat McAfee. Everybody was so upset about Pat McAfee. I think it was only fitting that they get rid of Pat McAfee. Once Pat McAfee is out of there, the match gets started, and we saw Cody Rhodes attacking Randy Orton's back, telling the story of his back injury. We saw blood in this match from both of them. And we saw Cody Rhodes get the win. This is not the end of it, though. Before we get there, we saw, I think, what they had Randy do to Pat McAfee was they caused the story to go backwards. They caused the story to go backwards. Why? Because ultimately he just turned on Pat McAfee, which causes him to lose. And now Pat McAfee said if Randy Orton does not win, he will never come back to the WWE. Well, that was their way to write Pat McAfee off of WWE television for good by having the Viper turn on him, ultimately causing Cody Rhodes to get that win. But what I was not expecting to see, which I popped for, was after the match was over with, Cody Rhodes is walking around celebrating. Randy Orton grabs the belt from him, pops him upside the head with the belt, which ultimately leads to Randy finally bringing back the punt kick. I popped so hard for that. My son was like, Dad, why'd you say yeah to that? Because that's the Randy Orton that I like. That's the Randy Orton that I want to see. He brought back the punt kick. Thank you. Thank you. This is going to go into Backlash, which should lead to Randy Orton winning. If not Backlash, then it'll be whatever's after Backlash. I don't know if they've announced it yet, but we know Backlash is next. So if not Backlash, it'll be after that. If not, it'll go into SummerSlam and where Randy get number 15 at SummerSlam. But they screwed the pooch on the story. They tried to save it by Randy turning on Pat McAfee, which ultimately causes Randy to lose, which means Pat McAfee isn't coming back to WWE. But then they continue on with the story by having Randy punt kick Cody Rhodes. No more celebrities getting involved in this rivalry, please. Let them finish their story so they can move on. No more celebrities, no Jelly Roll, nobody. This should be strictly about Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton from this point forward. But now that we got full-fledged Viper back with the punt kick, now I can say I'm excited for it. I gave this match an A- because of Pat McAfee getting involved. The show as a whole was okay at best. I gave it a C as a whole, mainly because of the times of these matches. And here's this graphic that I was going to show. The first match got 7 minutes. Jacob Fatu and Drew got 14 minutes. 9 minutes for the women's fatal four-way tag team match. 8 minutes for Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. 15 minutes for Gunther and Seth Rollins. 7 minutes for the women's world championship match. Stephanie Vaquer and Liv Morgan. 23 minutes for Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Now, they could have gave every match 10 minutes. Anywhere between 10 and 15 minutes. And this show would have been shorter than any AEW match. A lot of people complain about AEW pay-per-views being too long. We've seen 6-7 hour AEW pay-per-views. Okay, cool. You could have gave every match 10 to 15 minutes and still would have been shorter than any AEW pay-per-view. If that's what they were going for. That has to be what they were going for, because 8 minutes and 7 minutes for two women's title, two singles women's titles matches. 8 minutes, 7 minutes. Then they got a match that classically goes longer in the fatal four-way tag team match. 9 minutes. every men's match except for one got double-digit minutes, and that the only one that didn't was the one that was on free TV. So I hope night 2 is a lot better than night 1. Otherwise, it's a flop. WrestleMania is a flop again in Vegas. And I just have this feeling like next year is going to be even worse. But we'll see. We'll see how night 2 plays out. Y'all let me know in the comments. Was y'all feeling night 1? Was you not? Otherwise, I'll be doing another one tomorrow night after night 2. Y'all please like and subscribe. Find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all under the name Darkwing Dub. I'll be back tomorrow for another one, y'all. Night 1 WrestleMania.